is a criminal defense attorney representing those accused of crimes.
Yes, sir.
And he started out in the defender's office, worked in the City of Philadelphia defender's office, worked in the federal defender's office, and he's just always been around criminal law issues. He's cut his teeth. He's a seasoned trial attorney.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, he is.
Polite way of saying old.
Is that what it means?
Graduate of Morehouse College and Howard University.
You can't get
School
more
of Law.
HBCU than that, brother.
Yes, sir.
He is credentialed.
Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to the show, Ken.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
And actually, happy birthday. You just had a birthday.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
I did.
We won't tell the age.
Oh, well, he told the world.
Yeah.
He knows. Everybody knows.
Did he
Old
lie?
as dirt.
Did he lie?
He told the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always in this room, at least.
Old as dirt. So, today we're going to talk about some criminal issues. But, folks, if you have any legal problem whatsoever, or you're just pondering a question that has to do with the law, give us a call at 215-227-2727.
Especially with this weather coming. I
Yes.
expect your phones will be ringing.
I would venture that you'd be correct. I was up at our new King of Prussia office yesterday, and we're all staffed up and open. The doors are open.
Finished, refurbished.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's ready.
Everything is
Open for
sweet.
business.
Yeah. You can't miss it if you're going down, I guess that's called a DeKalb Pike.
Cal pipe, yeah.
727 West DeKalb, right across from Buckman Ski Shop. You will find the newest outpost of My Philly Lawyer.
Is that what they are? Outposts,
Yeah, as we get out,
way stations.
as we get out into the far counties of the Philadelphia metropolitan area. Who knows? One day soon, maybe in Adams County. I don't even know where Adams County is. I just know we have.
Why
we
that
have
pop in your head?
We have a county in Pennsylvania. It's called Adams.
Okay.
Sounds far away.
Of the 67, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Of the 67 counties that you've visited, all of them.
I did.
Yeah.
I had to go to every one at one time. Mm-hmm. It's surprising what's in this state. You'd be surprised how rural it is in the middle. There's like nothing for the longest strip. There are no people.
Well, but that's been the mantra for a while.
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
Philly, you got Pittsburgh, then you got Alabama in the middle.
It's rural. It really is. It really. I will never forget the state trooper colonel telling me that there are people they never see, even a dead body maybe, but they're out there.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that.
Well, they pick up the roadkill and everything.
Right.
All right. Well, anyway, Ken,
Sir.
what's been going on in the criminal world that is of interest to our listeners?
Are we allowed to curse?
Whoa.
No.
Only when we're on a terrestrial break.
Well, okay, yeah.
YouTube, they allow that, but over the FCC airwaves, that's still frowned upon.
Understood.
Okay.
Well, man, obviously what everybody is concerned about, rightfully so, is the influx and the uptick in the ICE folks and their involvement and how they're treating those of us who may not have been born here, and quite frankly, those of us who were
born here, yeah.
And that is obviously a concern, the continued and the escalation of the trampling of civil rights and liberties and freedoms that we purport to enjoy here. So I imagine that is a hot topic and a concern for most of your listeners.
So if somebody were contemplating going out to march, to have some opposition, protest to this whole ICE manifestation that we've been seeing, what would be your best advice to them?
As you have often heard me say, and my one mantra is get home safely. You got to get home to your family. That is your number one concern. That is your number one job. I would also suggest 1A is keep your mouth closed. Don't talk to the law enforcement. Don't talk to police. Rarely, if ever, are you going to talk yourself out of a situation. More often than not, all you're going to do is make yourself in more trouble, make your situation worse.
I've seen recently on, I don't know why, maybe it's because of the algorithms.
The who?
The algorithms.
Very good.
Thank you. I can learn algorithms that I'm being exposed to, but I see a lot of people sitting in the driver's seat of a car, and then the officer's up there, and he's like, "Okay, give me your driver's license and registration." Why? Why'd you stop me?
Right.
Well, you didn't have a reason to stop me. Okay, you're under arrest. Get out of the car. What? I'm not getting out of the car. You don't have a reason to tell me to get out of the car. Call your supervisor. Like,
and then your window ends up broken. Your door ends up yanked out. You get drug across the street. And so avoid all that.
And so what would your advice be to that person sitting behind the wheel of the car?
Give your ID.
Yep.
Establish who you are, and don't answer any other questions. You're not obligated to answer any further questions. Give your ID. Let them know that you're here. You are a person. You are lawfully doing what you're supposed to be doing. And then go back to rule number 1. Get home safely to your family.
Okay. What if they really don't have a reason? Is that the place and time?
It's never the place and time in the side of the road, on the corner. Again, keep your mouth closed, do what you're supposed to do, and then get in contact with an attorney and let us deal with the legalities of the stop, the legalities of the situation. And I understand it gets touchy. I understand you want to protect your rights. I understand you want to assert your rights.
The man sitting to your left.
I'm not going in.
He's.
Why not?
Man, ain't taking me, bro.
It's about to snow. You might as well go in. I see you steaming.
Because there are too many instances of people who get snatched up and taken to another country, taken to another state. Relatives don't know where they are, where they're going, what happened. Then they come back. If they come back, battered, beat up, and bruised.
But how do you stop that? How do you prevent
I
that?
honestly don't know, because it
getting
seems
beat
to
up
me
or
people
tased
are
or shot on the
indiscriminately
corner?
just being stopped at random. And yes, some folks are going to feel some sort of way about it.
Absolutely.
You know, as a black man, we have triggers that other folks don't have.
Absolutely.
When it comes to law enforcement.
Absolutely.
And I believe some folks are counting on that for bigger reasons. But I'm just saying, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm scared. If an ICE agent pulls me over, I'm afraid. Police know. ICE, I'm going to be afraid.
Absolutely.
That's the truth. And I don't know that I'll get a chance to call you or Dean. Yeah.
And I would suggest that fear also goes to regular law enforcement.
Regular law enforcement.
But again, your job, your main job, if you have a family at home, is to get back to them. Your job is not to have them come view you at the morgue.
The dog.
Your job is not to have
the little
them
doggy waiting for you to take him out for a walk.
I feel there's a saying we have, even when we comply, we die. Black folks. That's how I feel with ICE.
There's no question. I'm not disputing.
So I'm going to when I'm saying publicly to all of you, I'm going to defend myself. I'm not going.
There's a difference between defending yourself, and I would never tell anybody not to.
You break my
defend
window,
yourself.
it's on. I'm not smiling, and I'm dead serious.
I understand that, and that is a choice that we have to make.
But
However,
you are at a distinct disadvantage under those circumstances.
Not with what I'm driving with.
No, you don't have.
And permitted.
You don't have what they're driving with, nor do you have the numbers.
I'm saying right now, there are a lot of folks that think just like me for serious, legitimate reasons and concerns when it comes, as it relates to ICE agents. Folks are on these streets panic. I hear it.
They are legitimate, and they are serious.
What police officer
They
comes to
don't-
you with a mask on?
I suggest to you they don't trump your responsibility to your family.
I feel you. And I hear all of that. I'm speaking for the person who feels just like I do. And there are a whole lot of us that feel this way. We don't think we will survive the ICE agent encounter fairly. We think they're unjust, and we think that the best thing we better do is protect ourselves from them.
As well as your family.
True.
Protect your responsibility to your family. I'm not disputing anything about what you're saying. I'm not disputing the fear. I'm not disputing the concern. Nor am I disputing the illegality of what they're doing.
Thank you.
All I'm saying is get home to your family.
I'll do my best, but hopefully they'll get home to theirs.
Absolutely.
You pull me over, that's going to be a problem.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure you got my number on speed
Yeah,
dial.
no, right. On speed dial.
A lot of friends in Philadelphia feel that way. They call it FAFO for a reason. F around and find out Philly for a reason.
across the country that fear is legitimate.
It is legitimate. Thank you. It is, man. It really is, y'all.
But
YouTube audience
you
knows I'm right,
need
Dean.
you need to survive to fight another day.
You're right.
And as Ken said, they outnumber you
That's
in
true.
numbers,
That's true.
in bullets, in every way imaginable, and you want to give no reason for them to end
And you're right.
your life.
You're both right.
215-227-2727. The number for all things legal in Philly. If you've got a legal issue, give us a call today. Kenny or I will answer your question. I promise you, no matter what it is, we will have an answer.
Absolutely.
You're tossing things out like in protest, and one of them inadvertently and accidentally hits an ICE officer.
It's on.
Is it a problem?
It is a problem
Why?
because you had the intent to toss it, and then therefore you can be held accountable for the consequence of that intentional act. And so it's called transference of intent. I think one of the easiest analogies, if you and I decide we're going to go into a bank or a store and rob somebody, and during the course of that robbery, you shoot somebody and kill somebody.
Schoolie D, Steady B.
Even though I may not have done that, in Pennsylvania, that is still what's known as felony murder. I am responsible for your act because it was logically seen, it was rationally seen that could be a consequence. And felony murder in Pennsylvania is mandatory life. So you are responsible for what naturally flows from, what reasonably flows from, what foreseeably flows from the actions of your co-conspirator.
Or yourself?
Or yourself. Well, if it's from you, then I am not. If it's from you, the transfer of intent doesn't occur because you intended to do it.
But I intended to throw it, but not to hit that guy that it ended up hitting.
Why then and there at that time, right?
But that is a reasonable and foreseeable consequence. That is a reasonable and foreseeable outcome of what you did intend to do. And so you will be held responsible.
Okay. What's the biggest problem you see somebody going through the criminal justice system does or fails to do?
The biggest problem they do is talk. Keep your mouth closed.
What about to your cellie, like in the lockup?
That's worse. Because they're already in jail, so they already have their problems, so they are trying to figure out how to get out of their problems. And so if they can drag you in, if they can offer information on what you've done, on what you've told them, that could perhaps help them. So that's the biggest mistake. Don't talk to your cellie. Don't get on the phone and talk. They're listening. They're recording. Don't send letters home. They're reading. They're photocopying. The only conversations you can have that are protected are with your attorney. And that is the only person you should be talking to.
Simple enough. Silence.
Is that you have the right to remain silent? But
Silence
that's what they really mean, right?
from your first encounter with law enforcement until you're out of jail.
Do you talk to one of you?
But the caveat I'm going to put on what you said, you have the right to remain silent. That only applies to if you're speaking to law enforcement. What I'm saying is it goes further than that. Because if you're speaking to private citizens, while those rights, that protection doesn't kick in, it is still detrimental to you. Because as a private citizen, you're trying to get yourself out of trouble, and you can tell law enforcement. Now, I can't suppress my statements to you because law enforcement didn't do it, but law enforcement can use the information that you gave them against me.
Against okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Even exculpatory statements. I wasn't there. And then it's determined through your cell phones that you, in fact, were there.
Or at least your cell phone was there.
Yeah. Oh, or at least your cell phone.
That
Yeah.
matters. That's a difference.
Well, I don't know. He says that, but the truth of the matter is that if when you get arrested, your cell phone is on you, okay, you didn't leave it at the scene of the crime, then come back and pick it up after the crime and bring it with you. No, that's highly unlikely. If your cell phone was there and it was with you when you got caught up, then that's a problem. And that brings up a whole nother thing that you didn't really have to deal with when you were a kid. Okay, a kid attorney, I meant. You've got all this digital evidence and footprints now. How do you deal with that? And from a defense standpoint, do you have people that you can bring in who can use that information to your client's benefit?
And so when I say don't talk, what I'm also including is don't get on social media. Because you will be surprised how many times they subpoena, bring in the records from Instagram. Go onto your Instagram, go onto your Facebook, go onto your TikTok, go onto your Twitter, and you're standing there with guns. You're standing there with proceeds. You're standing there throwing up gang signs or whatever it is. That is talking.
Are they still doing all that stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Every day, especially in the feds. Absolutely.
Can I tell you something?
Absolutely.
There's a segue here from criminal to civil.
Right.
Because the very first thing that happens when I call an insurance company to open a claim on behalf of Manuel Glenn, who was just in an accident, is they need your name, your address, your date of birth. Okay? They won't open a claim without that. Give them that information. And within an hour, they have your entire social history downloaded.
Wow.
Every photograph, every statement. If you talked about having a back injury 2 years ago on social media, they know about it.
Or if you talk about being hurt in this situation and then they see you on social media doing cartwheels, cutting the grass, chopping down trees.
Absolutely.
I imagine it's the same issue.
Same issue.
Does that people
so-
have private social media accounts?
They break through that.
They legally have the right to do that. Folks need to hear that. Can they do?
They can do that. Yes.
All right.
They'll
Legally.
get a court order, they'll get a subpoena, they'll get a warrant and get your information.
But they'll all right.
Little more difficult for him because of the criminal protections. But in the civil side, it's fair game. If they can find a way to get to your information, they're going to get it.
It's the
You and
same with
I
criminal.
have been in Facebook jail. We've had our accounts taken away from us. Can they access that stuff that we can't even access?
It's on a server somewhere. It's in the cloud somewhere.
Interesting.
Your provider still has that information.
And
Just
they-
because you can't
and-
access it doesn't mean the provider doesn't have it somewhere.
By
So
the same-
the answer is yes.
By the same token, on a civil case, I can do an analysis of the defendant's phone and determine if the defendant's eyes were looking at his screen at the time of the accident.
I didn't know that.
There's a whole lot of information that's available today on one's devices that was never available back in the day.
Is it making it easier or harder for you guys?
Oh, exponentially harder.
It's harder.
And I would suggest that there are even cars now that track all of that. The cars
Teslas.
have the cameras. all in
Teslas
them.
certainly do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. 215-227-2727. The number for all things legal in Philly. Are you getting cases from these ICE protests? Have you seen any work that's generated from all of the additional federal activity that's going on around the country?
Most of it has an immigration component to it. And so I don't deal with immigration. I don't know that area of the law well enough to competently represent somebody. But just the strict criminal activity, the strict criminal charges that are brought, absolutely. There's an uptick, and we see those all the time.
Give us an example of what that looks like.
Just like you said, if there's a protest, you may be out there lawfully protesting. You may have the right to gather and voice verbally, give your opposition to things. But once it turns physical, there are federal statutes already on the book that say you can't touch the law enforcement. You can't touch federal. You can't be physically aggressive with them. And so that's, you start getting the assault, you start getting the impeding public officials, law enforcement officials from being able to do their job. And those are the cases that they're bringing.
So what's the, as far as recording their actions, is that legal?
You're out in public. You can record what you want to do in public. You just can't be in a physical position where you are impeding or interrupting or interfering with them doing their job.
So if they say, stop recording, put your phone down or give me your phone, what
You don't-
rights?
No, you don't have to.
Well, so folks will say
You
you're
can't-
disobeying the
You
not attorney, a law enforcement officer, right?
As long as you are not impeding them, as
Okay.
long as you are not physically in the way, as
Mm.
long as you are not preventing them from doing their job, you're standing out on a public street corner. Why can't you record?
How about in terms of physical space? While you're filming while they're doing their job. If you're not in the way, but you're close. You feel what I'm saying?
Again, if your number one job is to get home, step back.
Step back. Okay.
You can still record, just step back. Make sure you are not in the way. Make sure they can't construe, and mind you, you have this on video, so make sure they can't construe it that you were impeding them, that you were interfering with them. Be far enough away where you can do that.
And let me just say this in defense of law enforcement. If they are carrying out their duties and you got protesters around, a law enforcement officer is also worrying about the person they're dealing with. Do they have a weapon? They're concerned about their life as well. And you're distracting them, that could be a problem. So I get that part.
Yes, sir.
Don't think I'm ignorant to that, folks. Law enforcement does need the space to do what they're doing. Right?
Agreed.
All right.
Agreed.
The biggest fear with these protests, Dean, is outside agitation and infiltrators to these protests. And next thing you know, stuff is on fire.
Well, that's why you go back to Ken's original caveat. You got to get home. And so you have to be able to assess the threat level of the engagement you're involved in. And if it gets to a point where it gets too crazy, you need to back up and separate yourself.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Assess the danger level. Assess the danger level to yourself. Assess the danger level that they will perceive they are under and act accordingly.
And Tactic could tell you, I'm somebody, for 3 days I was out there for the George Floyd protest at night. I saw it all. Fires, fights, agitations, everything. So I get a good sense what that atmosphere is like, and I can see how things can get out of hand. And now it's worse.
Yes, sir.
Because it feels like the ICE agents aren't helping the situation.
No, and I would argue in most cases they're making it worse.
Yeah.
They are agitating as well.
Yeah.
You know, as you said, wearing the masks
That's
is
intimidating.
from
itself.
the jump, and coming out in massive numbers,
Guns
and
across their shoulder, in their vest, guns
Yeah.
in their hands, batons in their
And
hands.
jumping out of just
tasers
regular
in their
vehicles. Yeah.
yeah, we're in a weird place right now, and I don't know where it's going from here. Where do you see it going? Is this going to get reined back in by the courts? Because really, that's the only thing that separates, us from complete chaos is the court system. Are they going to put a brake on what's going on?
We have to utilize the courts. We have to have trust and faith that the court system will continue to act as it is historically done. Now, we have to do that with the realistic knowledge that there has been a concerted and consistent effort to pack the courts.
Pack them with who?
Those who are sympathetic and or aligned with the ideologies of those currently in power. Which is a problem. But just because there's a problem doesn't mean we stop trying. Doesn't mean we stop fighting. Just because there's a lot of evidence doesn't mean we don't fight.
All right, we got some callers, and we're coming up on the break. So I'm going to get one in quickly. If you're on the line, stick around. We'll get you either before or after this upcoming break. Line 2, Ronnie from Germantown.
Imagine that. Good morning, Ronnie.
Oh, Ronnie.
Good morning, family. How's everybody doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New
morning.
Year,
Happy New
Ronnie.
Year.
What?
All right. Hey,
what's going through your
my
mind
favorite
right now,
DJ.
young lady?
Okay, so check this out. I hear what the gentleman is saying. He's giving a lot of great information, but here's where it gets out of pocket. Well, it's out of pocket anyway, but it gets further worse than that. I'm at Broadnary, and I'm watching ICE agents attack people. I'm 30 feet away, almost to 15th Street, and I'm filming it. Now the ICE agents are moving up the street. They see me filming, and they come and they grab me. They snatch my bag, they snatch my camera, and they drag me in. We've already seen that happen. So I heard the gentleman talking about them, just dealing with the so-called perpetrators or what have you. But they're actually going after people. We saw it in Minneapolis. There was a clip where they went after the lady and grabbed her hair.
Ripped her out
and
her
all
car.
that other stuff. Right. So ICE is not drawing the line. Let's keep it real.
All right.
This is all out wilding.
All right, Ronnie. Here's my answer. Do what Ken suggests and live to fight another day. That doesn't mean we're going to let them get away with that illegal search, that illegal arrest or seizure. I want to say that there's a young boy who got caught up in the George Floyd protests. He had done nothing wrong. He was ripped from his car and his arm was broken. And Dean Weitzman and his team got him $1 million. Okay, $1 million for their behavior, for what they did to him. And so, rest assured that if you live to fight another day, there's me on the other side who's going to enforce your rights against these institutions in a real, meaningful way.
Okay.
It is.
Get home safely.
Because
Right.
if you think that we're going to tolerate, I don't care if it's ICE, I don't care if it's the FBI, the DEA, the CIA, I'm going after them if they violate my client's rights, and I will make them pay.
Okay.
Ronnie,
All right.
thanks for calling Court Radio, and I'll see you on the
Take
next call.
Yep.
Folks, we're at the break. We got to take a quick break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. If you've got questions, queue them up. We're going to answer them right when we come back. Hello, YouTube Live.
New friends.
We're live on YouTube.
I noticed. Those look good.
Any questions from the tube?
What's up, y'all?
My question was,
Kim.
if someone makes a fake social media about you, does that count in a,
Well, that's why there's experts, because sometimes like on the civil side, if you're involved in something and there's information out there, whether it's, let's say, I've had cases where documents have been fraudulently created, and I need to bring a handwriting expert in to prove that it wasn't your handwriting. There are digital experts that come in and prove that whatever we're looking at is not real. So, yeah, again, but when the stakes are high enough, there are experts to prove and disprove everything.
And just piggybacking on that, there are forensic experts that can look at your social media, determine how and when it was made. They can go through your phone, determine where the phones were, what actual messages were being sent, and they can do the same analysis that the law enforcement is doing.
Exactly.
So,
And all it takes is money, lots and lots of money. I mean, that's the sad reality.
Right,
Is
which is the hurdle for most people.
yeah, when we get involved in, I'll let Ken speak to his side, but when we get involved in civil litigation, we're agreeing as a law firm to fund your litigation, which means that I may spend upwards of $100,000. That's my money in my pocket that I take out to spend on your behalf to hire these experts so that we're prepared for trial. On the criminal side, you've got to self-fund a lot of that, and that's a difficult road to hoe.
And when you say self-fund, you mean the client.
Yes.
Unless it is a court-appointed situation where we could petition the courts for funds. But most likely, if you have hired me, the responsibility of getting experts and doing that analysis is going to come out of your pocket.
And unfortunately, you don't have the same wherewithal as the federal government does.
Never do. They get to print the money.
Thank you, Tube, for the questions. Hey, we're back. Live and in the studio. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Court Radio. I am your host, Dean Weitzman, and I am broadcasting live on 100.3 WRNB.
And Classics 107.9.
You may be hearing us elsewhere, and you certainly may be seeing us if you took the time to surf onto the web. If you go to the My Philly Lawyer website and click on Court Radio, you can find the little button for YouTube Live, and the feed will show up on your desktop, your cell phone, your laptop, your tablet, whatever it is. You can also watch those shows in perpetuity. Just like to get a little Latin out there in the morning. I am joined in the studio with my friend and colleague, Kennenth Edelin. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Kenny is a criminal defense attorney who's got extensive experience, having been in private practice for a long time, but before that, working at the Philadelphia Defenders Association, one of the preeminent defenders associations in the United States, and also in the Federal Defenders Association. So he knows how to handle criminal defense cases both in state and in federal court, and he is a seasoned trial attorney. Now he's not old, but he is seasoned.
I'm old too, but I like seasoned.
Like a good piece of meat. Having graduated from Morehouse College and Howard University School of Law, he's got all the right credentials. Folks, how do folks get in touch with you if they or their loved one needs your advice?
Give me a call, 215-316-9116. You can find me on social media. You can go to the web, Edelin Law, EDELIN LAW. Be happy to talk to you. Be happy to see if I can help you.
And he's also a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, and I'm not going to do the... I'm not doing it.
Good for you.
Thank you. We've had this discussion.
I learn.
Good for you.
And look at the shirt he's wearing. He always has
You know
some
what? You
hint.
figure out a way to do that.
Yeah.
That purposely gold.
It just comes natural.
It sure
comes
does.
He's always got that hue of purpleness about him.
The hue of purpleness.
And that's
Yeah.
a good
Sounds like
thing.
a chapter
Yeah.
from a book.
That's a good thing.
Man.
We've been talking about dealing with law enforcement because they're out and about far more than we've ever really had to experience in this country. This is, I mean, the people compare this to the 1930s Germany.
Gestapo.
And where people are asking for your papers. This wasn't America a half a dozen years ago.
Papers, please.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Really? In America? We're the bad guys, it seems like now.
Oh, around the world.
It feels that way.
Wait a minute. We're talking about taking by force Greenland.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to take it. It's going to take it. NATO was formed because of Russia aggression.
Yeah.
We're Russia.
Yeah.
We're the aggressor.
Yeah.
What I worry about are folks that travel a lot right now. Americans who are traveling. I'm wondering, are we more at risk than we've been before?
Well, I could say this. I'm not sure if we are, but it feels like we are.
And they're certainly putting out warnings,
Yes.
telling you where to go, be careful when you go,
Yeah.
and all of that. So, absolutely. Our standing and our stock in the world is plummeting.
I saw a great post. The rest of the world, it's not us, it's him.
Yeah.
it.
Well, we're going to find that out because us votes, right? Us makes the decisions on who the him is. And we didn't do the best job on the last go-round. We have an election coming up in 11 months.
That was far too kind. We did a terrible job the last go round.
A lot of folks are realizing it now.
Yeah.
Hopefully enough.
Yeah, prices aren't coming down, and the tariff war hasn't worked out to our benefit.
Your loved ones are being snatched. Your loved ones are being sent somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your loved ones are being incarcerated.
It's a little bit of everything, and the question is what's going to happen in November, but we'll see. That's a story for another day. In the meantime, there are things that you can do if you're engaged with law enforcement, and we're going to talk about those in a minute, but let's talk to Joseph. Oh, Joseph on line one.
Hey, Joe.
Good morning, Joe.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning, sir.
this is for you and your panel, but specifically maybe if Ken will accept it because of his credentials, which is so outstanding, Morehouse and Howard, and also maybe because of the area in which you live. So if ICE is what ICE is and the law is what law is, then how much have we learned from the civil rights movement, whereas this is no different? If protest then in the 60s was what it meant, then why can't that be seen now with the court? It just appears to me, and correct me where I might be wrong, that it's so much compliance that the pushback on protest is just taking a second seat. But with that being said, with so much happening from the arc of the civil rights movement to now, what does one do in terms of legal cases, such as people such as John Hinckley that gets released after a certain period of time, and now we're seeing it being played on the courts with that Maggione gentleman that killed the United Healthcare executive. What does that mean now for that black man who was the individual who set those bombs in Washington that took several years to find out who he is living in Maryland? What does that say for his case? Because all of it seems to be connected with the issue of race and color and gender.
I don't see.
All right, I am having a hard time following that, but I want to say this.
Okay.
You know, when we look back in Alabama in 1968, 69, again, I was very young at the time, but I recall seeing newsreels of black men and white men who were protesting with bloodied faces, with fire hoses, with German Shepherd dogs biting their limbs. So I saw with my own eyes the federal government overreaching then, and I see it now. So I think that while I don't agree with what's going on, I think there is a historic component to this that we've seen before and we've made it through. I guess my hope and my wish is that what we see today will not be what we see, let's say, a year from now or 2 years from now, and we will be on the other side of this, and we will maybe have grown from it, I hope.
Joseph, I think you're around our age. You remember Kent State, Ohio, for dead in Kent, in Ohio. You remember the president at that time. You remember the conventions. You remember all the riots in the streets. You remember the civil rights movement. I would say the difference now is the person in the White House, they're part of the agitation, and that's the biggest difference.
And so ultimately, yes, you are right. History is repeating itself. This is not anything new. This is something that we have been through before, we have seen before, and we fought through before. So I think that's the key. The eternal optimist in me says we will continue to fight. The courts will ultimately do what's right. The voters will ultimately do what's right, and we will get back to some sense of normalcy that we enjoyed after we had gotten through those original hurdles. But those hurdles, those beliefs, those mores certainly didn't disappear. They were just held in abeyance. They were just more clandestine. And the current climate, the current administration has allowed them to resurface. But it's up to us to continue the fight, and it's up to us to get them back in their place.
Yeah, hope. That's kind of the word of of the day. There is a hope that this will pass, but that we will grow from it, and that things will not be simply simmering under the surface, but we will resolve our differences and learn to work together, because what happened in the 60s, in the 70s and 80s, the hostilities were still there. They were just under the surface. Unbeknownst to me, I was in some fog, I guess, because I really didn't think that this could happen. I thought we were better than this. And I was wrong. Can we really move forward, not just push it under the rug, but actually deal with whatever the issues are that brought about this day and age?
I think social media complicates things.
Just let me also put one caveat on what you said. Hope, I align with faith. But what we know is that faith without works is dead. So we can't just hope. We can't just have faith.
Say that
we
again.
have to work.
Yeah.
And we have to do the work. And the work is hard. The work is dangerous. And the work is scary. But the work is for us. And more importantly, the work is for our children and their children who are coming up after us.
In that vein, and kind of, segueing from your area of specialty, have you seen folks who you've represented who went to jail and who came out different people? Is there any rehabilitative process that you can look back on and go, wow, that was a success story?
Certainly there are opportunities for rehabilitation, but I would suggest that they are few and far between. I would suggest...
Is that a systemic problem?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Or is it a
Absolutely.
person problem?
No, it's a systemic problem. It is not the incarceration machine is not set up and has never been set up to rehabilitate anybody. And despite the fancy words or the platitudes or whatever we try to couch it as, let's understand, it is to put people away. It is to separate people. It is to
Punish.
put them in and punish them in conditions that are inhumane. And so you cannot help but be affected by that negatively.
How would you change things if you could?
Incarceration has to be the last resort. We have to get to a point where we are looking at the underlying reasons for a person's behavior. We have to look at the social and economic conditions that they were forced to live in, they were forced to grow up in, they were forced to learn in, they were raised in, and take that into account. We can't lock people up because their circumstances led them to be addicted to substances. We can't lock them up because they suffer from mental health challenges, mostly brought on by the circumstances and the conditions that they were in.
Do you have any feeling about this kind of idea these days that young offenders, when we have young offenders, their parents should suffer consequences for the behaviors of their children?
So first of all, what I would say is it's not a feeling. Science tells us that young offenders' brains, they are not emotionally, mentally, psychologically equipped, able to make adult decisions. Now, do we hold parents accountable for that? It depends on what the parents' conduct and or lack of conduct was. It depends on what the parents were going through, what the parents had to survive to get to where they are. Can I hold you accountable as a 16-year-old who just had a baby at 16? You grew up with your child. So how am I saying the child's social and economic condition led them to do what they did and not take into account what your social and economic condition was, what your lack of access to funds, to resources, to education, to food, to water, to light, to heat, to home was, right? I mean, I think we have to take all of that into account. We have to look at people holistically, not just what it says on paper, not just what that 5-minute action, because most times the folks I find that I have to represent are in custody or caught up in the legal system for an action that took 5 minutes. And so how don't we need to look at the totality, the 21 years of their life
Again,
versus the 5 minutes of that action?
and how does that look to you if we were the best that we could be? How would that look? What would we then do
It goes
differently than we do now?
It goes to funding. It goes to acknowledging the issues. It goes to recognizing the issues. It goes to putting the funding, the resources, the mechanisms in place to deal with and combat and reteach, relearn what those conditions were. It goes back to solving some of the social and economic and moral issues that we have devolved into.
I believe a number of folks are walking around traumatized, and it's not being addressed. And that's why you have a 5-minute encounter that turns into a 10-year sentence. I think a lot of us are walking around damaged and could use some counseling and some therapy. I think that should be a part of the process as it relates to
and not necessarily damage from a specific incident.
Yeah.
But damage from how you had to grow up.
That's what I mean.
What you had to do to survive. Most people are surviving life, not living life.
So, how about this?
Yeah.
We require vaccinations to get to kindergarten. Okay? At least we did anyway.
Right, so far. We'll see how that
Right.
We all had to get that.
You sure did. With
That,
the
little
needle
thing,
and then the gun. Yeah,
the gun thing on the side. So, the medical exposure to doctors is required in order to get vaccinations. What if we had a world where you also had to see a psychologist half a dozen times in your between kindergarten and sixth grade, where there would be interactions, where there could be interventions, where there could be things done to thwart the horrible things that these kids have had to grow up in. That to me is once you're 16 or 18, it's a lot harder to undo the damages that brought you to the point where you're committing a crime.
And then you got a driver's license, you're behind the wheel of a car with all that drama.
We need to spend money on mental health, and we need to spend it at the beginning of life.
They get past the stigma first. That's going to be an issue with a lot of folks.
Well,
but you're right.
If you required in exposure to that, the stigma very quickly goes away. Like, it feels good. You're feeling like you're more productive, or you're more comfortable in your own skin, and so the stigma falls away from that process.
Which means it has to be widespread, because just because you feel good and you no longer are burdened with the stigma, everybody around you is still looking at you.
Right.
Yeah. That's the reality.
All right, we're coming up to the break, folks. If you've got a legal issue, I know we took some crazy detours today, but I thought they were important to talk about. If you've got a legal issue, we still have time. Give us a call in 2 minutes. We'll be right back.
You here, YouTube?
YouTube.
Ken.
Sir.
Carl, you want me to read this, or do you want to read it?
You can read it.
The last one, don't you see the same repeated offenders? That one? Do you see the same repeated offenders all the time in and out of the system?
Absolutely. Recidivism is a big problem.
Yeah.
Because that goes back to Dean's question about rehabilitation and how the system is not set up to rehabilitate you. The system is not set up to give you the tools and the guidance and the treatment and the introspection needed.
Loretta?
Whoa. To be able to deal with what happens once you come back out. More often than not, when you come out, you're going back to the same environment that caused and bred the infractions and the behavior in the first place.
Now, we say out here on the street, the person has to want to seek help. First
of course.
But when you're incarcerated.
No, I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree.
Okay.
You can create the want to seek help by having a carrot and a stick enterprise, where you give them the opportunity to extract themselves from the criminal justice system if
Provided
they do X, Y, and Z.
That presumes you have the capacity to, number one, recognize that choice and to make that decision. But that goes back to what you are enabled with. If I don't have the ability to do calculus, it doesn't matter how many times you expose me to calculus. I don't have the mental capacity to do that.
Then you're really effed up. And then the question is, should you then just be put away because you don't even have the capacity to know, I don't want to be in jail, and if I do this and I behave in this way, I won't go to jail.
But again, that presumes I have that choice. If I'm in an environment and the environment doesn't change and I'm going back to the same environment, that the only options I have to live, to eat, to stay warm.
So we have to then provide the better environment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good morning and welcome back. Do I have a microphone? Thank you.
You definitely have a microphone.
We are Court Radio, and I am Dean Weitzman, your host. Broadcast right here on 100.3 WRNB.
And Classics 1079.
This show has been devoted to topics sociological and criminal in nature, and we have been joined by my friend and colleague Kennenth Edelin of Edelin Law
Yes,
and
sir.
Associates.
Yes, sir.
Is there any associates in there?
Always.
Okay.
You.
Me. I am an associate. Kenny worked for the Federal Defenders Association. He also worked at the Defenders Association of Philadelphia. He was a chief there at some point, right?
Chief of the Major Trial Unit.
Chief
of
Defender.
the Major Trial.
Not Chief Defender.
Okay.
Sounds like
yeah.
it's like a
Well,
cool title, though.
Chief-
I'm not
Yeah,
that
that's
important.
political.
Never was that important.
Nah, come on. That's Defender is political. Chief of the Major Trials is a seasoned, saucy trial attorney.
That's real good stuff, though.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Sounds
Can we give you that, bro?
Yeah.
Sounds
Come on.
good. Sounds
No.
good.
Because if there's ever an office that just sounds like we are the defenders, like, whoa.
That organization in Philly is no joke.
I've heard it.
They're
Legendary.
Yep, they are. Well, in any event, we were talking about criminal justice, and before the break, we were talking about whether it's possible for folks to get rehabbed. Ken does not see much of that because of the way the system is set up. I think I've heard that we spend approximately $40,000 a year to incarcerate one person, 40 grand. So, those people who are out there saying, they're just criminals and let them rot in the jail and blah, blah. There's still an economic component here. There's an economic component. If you could reduce crime, here's the question. If you could reduce crime and it cost you half the amount of money,
Taxpayer dollars.
yep. So instead of paying 40, you only pay 20. And that 20 went to providing shelter and food and mental health treatment to the person who was in jail, and they could be out on the street actually contributing to society instead of taking from society. Would you agree to do that?
Who are you asking?
I'm asking the ether. I'm asking our listeners. I'm asking Philadelphia. If you could spend half the money you spend to incarcerate and to accomplish better results, would you do that? Or are you? And this is what you have to ask yourself in the quiet time of your own. Would you say no? I want that person locked up, and if it costs me more to lock them up, I'm happy to pay it.
And the scarier question is, are you saying, no, I want those people locked up?
Those people.
Those people.
Yeah.
Those
That's
people.
the scarier question. So do you want to spend the money to give us a chance to prevent crime? Or are you more comfortable with just locking those people up?
And of course, you can never lock up enough of those
people.
Right?
And
So-
those people get back, they come out.
Yeah, but
They don't
only,
stay forever.
only for a short while.
And the definition of those
Okay.
depends on what your particular vision is, what
Who those
lens
people
you are
are?
looking through.
Right. So we're building enough, prisons that we can continue.
And private prisons.
I know.
is big, is
they're
big
making
business.
They're making money. We as a country lock up more people per capita than any other country in the world.
That's fact, folks.
Now,
So what logically flows from that is that we make more money by locking more people up.
That's the bottom line.
So you
well,
have to-
I don't know who the we is making that cash, but I know who the we is who's paying that cash, and that comes from tax dollars, and that comes from working folks. So,
But if there are entities out there that are making a bunch of money, they are not incentivized to prevent folks from getting locked
Here's a
up.
caveat. Dean, you said we're spending $40,000. Let's take half of it and put it over here.
Yeah.
All right, but that $20,000 you're taking away, who's eating because of that $20,000? You took some money out of somebody's pocket when you did that.
yeah,
And are those folks going to be happy about that?
I really don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. But
But
do.
the question is, should we care?
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm cutting into your profit
we
margin,
probably
should we care?
shouldn't. But he and I, listen, somebody is going to take a hit in their pocket.
Yeah.
And that's what gets people's attention if
Yeah.
you do that. And that's really what this is about. And that's the sad thing.
And they
profit margin.
They have lobbyists. They have folks that believe the way they believe. And,
Those
and-
people.
But can
and
I
all
just
that.
say
This is
this?
the power.
Can I say this? They don't have to take that position. They don't have to feel like we're taking from their pocket. They just need to pivot.
Okay.
Because instead of being in the criminal justice system, maybe we should be in the mental health justice system.
Is there money in it?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
We can monetize it. There doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. We just need to move to a more humane way to treat folks and to get better results. I'm not suggesting I'm looking forward to a lawless society where we're all scared to leave our homes. I'm saying that we could have a society where everybody is healthier and more productive than we are today.
Agreed.
And the guys who are making money on prisons, we could have, mental health drive-bys, drive-ins, where there's mental health workers.
slip.
All right, demolition man.
All right, we're punching up against the time, folks. We're almost out of time. I really appreciate everybody's participation today. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, sir.
One more time, real quickly. How do people get in touch with you?
215-316-9116. I'm all over social media, KCEESQ. Go to the website.
I look forward to your morning, drive-ins to work where you're smoking a cigar and telling us a tip for the day. I haven't
Smoke my
seen.
cigar on the way in.
Yeah, me too.
It's the
Me
new
too,
year.
bro.
It's the new year. I'm starting off slow with the social media.
Padron.
Me too.
Padron. He's
What?
He's not talking about his favorite cigar.
My price point is a little different than yours.
But quality doesn't suffer.
Quality does not suffer.
Okay.
Shout out to Holtz.
Yeah,
Good one. Good
yeah, Anthony. All right, folks, we'll be back next time, same place, same channel. See you then. Have a great week.
Still on the tube.
We are, and I'm, getting a little tongue-tied today myself. Guys on YouTube, do you have any questions in the after show that is only for you? I would love to answer them.
I'll say this. Someone asked about Jackson and Sophia. I was surprised. Jackson's tall. He was bigger than I thought he would be.
Who asked about Jackson and Sophia?
I'm
What
trying
is
to
it?
figure out where did he get the height
Yeah,
from?
where did he get that? My
That's
dude was,
what I'm trying to figure out.
he was solid. I was like,
Looking at him, I'm
whoa.
like, whose kid is that?
I didn't say that. Is that Jackson?
He's 6'1"?
He looked about 6'2". But he had on sneakers, so he might have, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying he was solid, dude.
Yeah,
You were right.
listen. I put that gym down there thinking he'd never go down.
Uh-huh.
He's down there every night like a lunatic, pumping iron.
Is he? Really?
Yeah, he's
It
dedicated.
It shows.
Yeah, he's just asked me.
Where's his basketball? Is there basketball on the property? I didn't notice.
There was a net out front.
Okay,
yeah.
it's out front.
Yeah.
All right. Is he shooting?
In the driveway.
Does he practice there?
Yeah, yeah. Well, when weather permits.
Ken, this dude is solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I want to get him into football actually because I think he's got a better body for football than basketball.
How's mom feel about that?
Oh, I don't
Mother's in football,
Yeah, she's all right. She doesn't know.
Does he even
She
play?
doesn't know. She gonna find out.
You gonna find out? Okay,
Like
Dad, I
what?
hear you. Assert.
And Soph, was there anything about Soph? Somebody comment on Soph?
What
What was the comment? Well, you started to say something about somebody posted something, but then you and Carly were like, nah, don't do that.
Oh, what?
I think we could read it.
Go ahead.
So when we were talking about, Kenneth was talking
I'll let Ken read it.
about, like some people do crimes and survive. Like,
Yes, yeah.
Like that.
Loretta said,
Do you justify killing the 16-year-old girl killing an innocent mother on her way home from work? Do you justify that?
well, I don't think. Okay, so I'm gonna let.
Liberty and said that we don't justify murder.
Yeah.
We never justify murder. Of course not. We never justify murder. I justify defending yourself and your family, but that certainly does not sound like this situation.
Right.
It seems like,
But merely merely because you can understand how that occurred through one's upbringing and what they've experienced doesn't mean you're justifying what that person did. But understanding why and how they came to do that is important to prevent that from happening in the future.
To anybody and to anybody's family.
We do, like as a society.
What was that?
We do think that because I can understand why you did something, we think that means I agree with what you did, and they're not the same thing.
No, not the same at all.
But as a society, we do mix those two things together. Like we can't have empathy, but also know that something is wrong.
Right.
There's certainly.
You defend against the death penalty.
Like he's getting.
You know what I mean?
Well, the death penalty is just stupid. I mean, you know, it doesn't prevent murder. That's a proven fact. It isn't carried out consistently.
Or equitably.
Or equitably.
It doesn't
Unless
scare
you're in
anybody
Texas.
from doing a crime.
You're in Texas.
And whereas it costs $40,000 to incarcerate somebody for any old crime, it costs like triple that to incarcerate somebody for the death penalty, for all the money we spend to defend them
And the
for
appeal
decades
process
in the
and
appellate
everything.
process. It just serves no purpose whatsoever. I mean,
All right, how about
in my
this?
opinion.
This is going to sound cruel.
Oh.
What about maiming? Eye for an eye. Use a finger. You lose a hand. You rob, you use a gun, you take it off. We amputate. How about stuff like that? You take an index finger so you can't use your trigger finger again. Things like that.
That's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
You're going to end up right back where we are. It's a slippery slope.
But some countries do that.
And again,
Oh, yes, they do.
we haven't
Some
dealt with.
countries also cut your head off and stick it on a pole
Still?
so that people driving by can see.
Where is this still happening?
In Saudi Arabia,
Is that really happening in Saudi Arabia?
yes.
Wow,
Yes.
Wasn't it Game of Thrones? Okay.
And who is it going to be most utilized against?
That's right.
The weak,
Those who have already,
the
those who have already
disempowered,
been
yeah.
marginalized. Those who have already been disadvantaged.
What about chemical castration for rapists?
Again, it's a slippery slope.
Still a slippery slope.
If you have 7 children and are on welfare, am I now going to sterilize you?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
it's
Because
I
you've
think-
already proven.
Yeah.
At that point, you've proven that you are irresponsible.
But how did you get to be irresponsible? What led
Doesn't
to that
matter.
point?
It doesn't
I
matter
disagree.
how you got there. You're there.
You're there.
We
I
need to
disagree.
deal with the consequences of that first.
So, am I responsible?
That's not to
Are
say
we-
that your investigation isn't important to prevent future persons like that, but the consequences must be dealt with for your behavior.
Am I, as a society, responsible or bear any responsibility for creating the conditions that got you there?
Yes, and
Well,
therefore,
then, if I'm responsible as a society, how can I now punish you for you ending up where I led you?
because the ultimate responsibility is with the individual. Not everybody who was subjected to the things that person were subjected to goes on to commit the crime that they committed.
We're not talking about a crime. We're talking about having children.
Oh,
And
okay.
right? That was the question.
Not everybody who is exposed to that level of socioeconomic deprivation goes on to having 7 children. So there has to be consequences for the person's behavior, while at the same time recognizing what led them there, and us as a society investing in making sure that we stop that from happening for future generations. So that there's both. We pay the price to prevent that from happening in the future. The person pays the price for engaging in the behavior that they engaged in.
I disagree that we have the right to infringe upon somebody's autonomy, somebody's person in that manner. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make abortions illegal. The next thing we're going to, that's
Right.
the natural flow from that.
Got the slippery slope argument, and I understand it, and it has validity. It has validity.
Well, so that's tabled. Banishment, gulag. We can't put people in another part of the world and say, "All right, you stay there from now on. You're banished from society because you can't live amongst us." And all you folks.
Well, we do that. It's called prisons.
No, but this is you never come back again. You get out of prison, but you live elsewhere. Like that's what Devil's Island was. I mean, that's
Right.
what Australia was originally. Was it a penal colony? Allegedly?
Yes.
But look how that worked out. Is that another slippery slope? You have a
course it
whole
is.
continent full of former felons.
The whole penal system is a slippery slope.
So how do we punish people? What's the
Carrot
what's the
and a
solution?
stick.
No, we
And make no mistake.
we punish people. That we don't have a problem. in
How
punishing
do we
people.
stop repeat offenders, which is one of the things you brought up with rehabilitation? That's one. There's always going to be crime of some sort. We can't get out of that. But how do we make the switch from just punishment to mental health and true rehabilitation? That's the question, right?
Acknowledging, recognizing, and putting the money behind it.
Yeah, acknowledging what caused the
Initial.
the mind, body, spirit to be able to commit the crimes that they eventually committed.
Fixing that.
and then intervening early on before they get that stimulus as a child. So you got to spend money. You got to identify what the problem is. You got to come up with a solution for the problem. And again, all of that takes money. We have to spend money on that.
Well, we all know there are some just basically bad people. We all grew up with some folks that were just bad guys.
Were they born bad?
They could have mental health issues from
Maybe,
the,
but
from
we
the jump.
all came from neighbors. Come on, there was at least one bad guy.
No question.
Right. So hold on.
But if he or she wasn't born that way, then something caused it.
Well,
I'll
maybe
give you
they
that.
maybe they were born that way.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But
My
I
point
think we
is-
can agree that is a very small number.
Yes.
My
Yes.
point is a lot of this is just circumstantial. Folks' back was against the wall. Something happened. They had to do something. They felt desperate.
that's-
A lot of folks right now committing crimes out of just desperation. They can't eat.
You're talking
They
about
can't
shoplifting and things
talking
like
about that stuff,
nature,
and
but-
then they get caught up and something goes wrong, and next thing they fire the gun when they didn't really mean to. Stuff like that happens.
Yes.
All types of things. So I think there's a lot of circumstantial crime.
Absolutely.
There's
that,
a lot
that
of-
goes back to recognizing that, putting the funding and the programs and the systems in place to combat that.
I also believe there's a lot of career criminals. This is what I do, and this ain't gonna change. It's what I do for a living. This is how I make my money.
And I don't.
There are folks like that.
I don't dispute that.
Right.
But again, unless you're telling me they were born that way, something led them to that.
I
Something
can
caused
say
that.
I know that there are folks who are born into that criminal environment for a fact. I've
Envi-
met families like that.
Environment, I think, is a key word.
Okay.
Yep. You got it. You nailed it. You gave him the.
So we got to figure out how you change years of environmental living and breeding when you finally get this person caught up.
You ever go to a store and you see a parent turn to their kid and slap the shit out of them for no
we must,
good?
We must be off terrestrial radio. Now we are.
Let it fly. What the? Yes.
And you see the kid retract in fear and trepidation and doesn't know what's coming next.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beginning.
That's the big. So
That's
all right,
the beginning.
discipline is what you're saying.
That's not discipline.
What is it?
That's torture.
That's child
That's
abuse.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on who you talk
And
to.
the mother, from Ken's perspective, and what makes me crazy is because it's like you got to stop that at some point. He'll say, well, that mom who had a baby when she was 16 had the same things done to her by her mom. It's like, okay, but at some point you have to put a stop and you have to say, okay, let's intervene for that 5-year-old right now.
I'm not disputing that. The converse, though, is also true. What about when you're in
that?
the store and
They
you
love the live
see the
action.
mom and the kid is in the middle of the store throwing a tantrum, pulling stuff off the shelves?
Hey,
Now, do we say, okay, no discipline? She's raising them gently?
No, but you know how to. There's proper discipline. You gather the child up and take him out of the store.
How
You
do
go
gather?
shopping
How
up.
do you gather?
you gotta rip. You gotta
Snatch him.
grab. You gotta snatch him up.
Snatch him by his collar?
You gotta snatch him up.
So now somebody else who has a different moral outlook says, no, you can't grab the baby like that.
You get them Karens in a heartbeat.
Yeah, you got it. But
You got a few of them. We've seen them.
everybody mind your
Oh,
business.
how you shouldn't do that. Okay, this isn't your child.
Yeah, that's right. Mind your business.
You get that?
Good luck with that.
This is
we get back to the
original question.
the original statement you made. This is difficult stuff. This is hard
Oh
work.
yeah.
Because it's multi-level, it's multifaceted. There are so many different areas that have to be addressed that we can't be lazy about doing that. And we can't be dishonest about doing that. And being truthful, as we all know, is very difficult for a lot of people.
Yes.
Well, there's that.
Bam.
Did he make it?
I made it 100% today. 100%. Folks, we're out of time. Your little soiree on YouTube is now coming to an end.
It's popular.
I want you to like and subscribe, and I want you to tell 5 friends to like and subscribe. I'm shameless in my attempts to build the logarithm.
Somewhere there's a child named a logarithm.
And Chris,
Algalong.
I'm glad you're.
Yeah.
I got Chris, who's got me on his upstairs TV, his downstairs computer, so that he can sway the algorithm.
Is that
Yes?
sway the algorithm?
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Ken.
All right.
See you guys
Good
next
to see
week.
everybody.